Okay, I want to give you a brief overview of Gaia GPS. This is not going to be very detailed, so if you have more questions, you can look up more videos or give me a call. When you open up the app, this is going to be kind of a generic look you're going to have. Let's start with the top and work our way down. At the top, you can see there is a search button, a little magnifying glass. Next to that, there is a 4 arrows that expands the view when you select it, and then you can press the green box that will go back to the normal view. The next button is the circle with a plus sign around it. That will show right where you're at, so that zooms into your current location. If you select it a second time, it gives you the green arrow. This will then pan and twist with you as you twist the phone. You can see as I'm twisting here in my chair. The next one is the plus button there. This gives you multiple options that we will go over in a little bit, but that's what those are. And then the last one on the far right is your map layer options. We're going to go into a little more detail with that real quick. When you first get on here, go to the map overlay section there at the very top, select that, and then make sure all of these are turned on. Otherwise, some of these things that I'm going to have you do won't work. So let's go back. We have an active portion here and an inactive portion down here. The active portion is the part available for you to look at. So I've got several different maps up there, and the top ones all have a little circle that I can pan over to the right, and that's the opacity that's changing. So you can see there the map behind it. It now has just this street view that shows all the streets where I'm at. And then I can add this one on. This one is the private land, so it shows who owns what. And each option, this is a cool option you might enjoy later. You can select on them and it'll give you more information on that. Let's go back here, take those off. This imagery plus roads, the bottom one, is what I'm looking at now. That's the base map you can see there. You won't have this when you download it because they don't have it anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. So I'm going to show you how to get this Google satellite hybrid, which is basically the same map. You just have to download it differently. There's just some, I don't know, laws and stuff that they had to work around. Anyways, so that's what the generic overview of that. You won't have these maps available instantly, so you have to go to the add map layers if you want to put more in your inactive area that you can select from. So you go there and you can find there's more categories, and you can just play through and find the maps that you like. If you want the land ownership map, you go under feature, weather, and overlays. And down here, once you scroll down, you'll see a private land and then a public land option there. When you go in to them, there's this remove button at the top, but let's look at a different one that I don't have on there. You'll see there's this add button at the top. When you click that, it then goes back to this remove. So I can just go add and remove. That then puts it over here. If you go back 3 times, that then puts it over here into the inactive portion, and then you can select it and move it up to the active portion. I have lots of maps on here, so there's our snow forecast. You just hit that, and then it will be up here that you can have it. And then if there's any forecasted snow, I think it shows a thing on it. But Looks like there's forecasted snow in those areas. Anyways, okay, we're going to go back here. We're going to take that one off by clicking the red X because we don't need it. But those are your maps, and you can play around with them and add them in and find out which ones you like and don't like. Then you have this next bar below it gives you multiple options. You can change all of these options to whatever you want. The record button is if you're driving around a field or you want to walk in a field and remember where you went last time. You'll push that record button. It will then start to track you and up to where where you're walking and stuff. I did it in another field the other day. You can see here, this is a track I made in this field. I found that there was some mice eating some of the seeds there the other day too. So you can track that where you went. When you get done, you just push it again and say finish track, or pause if you're stopping or need to do something different. I don't really ever use that, or delete track if you decided you didn't want to keep it. I'm just going to do finish track just to show you what the next steps are. You hit finish track, then you can come in here and you can type in test track or whatever you want. You can have all these options you can go through. The only one that's probably going to be really important at this time is the choose a folder or add to a folder. You can select that, and then that gives you all the folders that are on there that you have that you can add to. So this will come important when we are wanting to share like locations of sticky traps or something like that in our shared folder. After you've figured all of that out, put down what you want, push save. It then shows this. You get here, you can change the name of it by pushing this pencil if you want. You can hide it by selecting the green eye. Now it's grayed out so it won't show up on the map. Or you can, if it's green, it will show up. So I'll just zoom in here for you. You can see I've got that there. I got a few other test ones I was doing. We'll go back here to our saved folder. We'll go back here to the information where we're at. And then if you push that, you go back and then it's gone. So if it's like that, then you go, oh, how do I get it back? This is where we're going to come down to our bottom bar here. You have your map, trip, the discover, saved, and settings there. Basically, map brings you back to this, what we're seeing right now. Trip and discover, I don't really use much. Play with it and figure it out. The saved is where we're going to want to look. So when you go to saved, mine already has it from previous things, but if I go to save, then here's our test track that we just did. So I can now show it and go back to my map, and it's there. You just have to click that green eye. These are the other tests that I did, and now they're gone. Or I can select them and have them come back. Oops. If you push this button here at the top, this all, then you can select what you want to see if you only want to see certain things. I do folders a lot because I have everything in a folder. This is where this is going to come real handy for us. You can see here I have 2020 fields in this folder, and it has 15 subfolders. When I open that up, you can now see that each farmer I have has their own folder, and in each of those folders has the pin where their field is and the map of their field that I made in Google Earth. So you can see, you can access all of those. That's the same way if you push the green eye, it will hide them when it's grayed out with a line through. So I can zoom out here so you can see when I put Gearing's fields back in. So that's just a handy tool. You can do individual ones while you're in there and hide a certain individual field, or show one field however you want to do it. But that's a nice tool for that. You can push the three buttons at the top. It gives you other options, different things you can do. You'll just be able to kind of figure that out as you go. let's go back here. I'm going to just show you. So here we have Brandon and I's area here in American Falls and Aberdeen, really close. Some fields are with each other. So Brandon and I shared the folders. So he sent me the maps and pins that he had, and I sent him some of mine. So I can select that I on Brandon's, and now when I go out, I can now see all of Brandon's fields. It might be hard to see where there's so many of them, but if I select it again, you can see them go away briefly. So that'll be a handy tool to be able to use when if you want to just look at your fields or somebody else's or anything like that. This is the sticky stakes folder. I just made this. We're just testing it out because I've never really done shared folders on this. But you can see I put a Seagull Bay sticky stake spot in that folder. When you push the arrow down, it gives you some more options. I can say show on main map. Then it pulls it up right where it's at so you can see it. You can zoom out and see where you're at. You can even, if you don't know how to get to it, you can select it, open it up, click your three options and say driving directions or guide me. Guide me will just give you a straight path. Driving directions will open up Google Maps or Apple Maps and give you actual driving directions to that exact spot. In a shared folder, you can make it so that anybody can have access and can change things or limit it so that nobody else, so that people can't change things. So that's something we'll just play with. So here under settings is where I have all of your settings. You can go in, play with those. There's nothing in particular that you need to change on that. So you go have fun with that. Let's go back here to the maps. I'm going to show you real quick how you can download maps so that you don't have to use your cell phone data all the time, or if you don't have service in certain areas, you'll still be able to see your map, see where you're at, and have a good picture. I'm going to move out of our area because I already have maps downloaded for there. So let's just go down here to my in-laws, down here to their ranch. Let's just say, there we go. Let's just say I want to download maps for down here. I push the plus button and then I select download maps, and it'll bring up this little red box. You can move it around, make it bigger or smaller. What you'll see here at the top left, there's another scroll bar. That gives you the maximum amount you can zoom in. The higher you go, the more memory it will take up on your phone. For what we're doing, you're probably only going to need like a 15 or a 16 zoom on it. That, you won't be able to count risers possibly, but you'll be able to see fields. And you can play with that. If you feel like you need more, you can do it easy. It's pretty quick and easy to download maps. So anyways, let's say I want to download this out here where they have a little BLM branch deal, and I hit save. It'll just bring you up to this screen. Then you can type in whatever you want. I'm just going to do test map, and you can put it in a folder or just let it save it on the phone. Hit save. It'll bring up this little green box. You can see the progress of it, and you'll notice that on each one of those is a map that is under my map overlays. So whatever I have in the active, it will then download it for that whole map area. So if I don't want all of those, then I need to take out whatever maps on here that I don't want. That's a handy tool that you can download the maps for your area so you don't have to use your cell phone data on that. But that's kind of a brief overlay of the maps. Gaia GPS. Call me if you have any other questions and I can help you out with it. So